Watch has got all their little knickers in a twist.
Oh, yes.
Their big granny undies in a twist because they can't believe over at the ABC, where they're all wearing the fawn cardigans, that we're over here having fun.
They act like the fun police.
They are the fun police.
Welcome to Media Watch. I'm Jonathan Holmes, and that was Kyle Sandilands and Jackie O 3 years ago. The first time I hauled out the fawn cardigan uniform of the fun police. This is the pair, let's remind ourselves, that presents one of the most popular breakfast shows in the country, and whose idea of fun includes attaching a 14-year-old girl to a lie detector and getting her mother to quiz her about her sex life. We've disguised both their voices.
Yeah. Okay, what's your next question, Mum?
Okay, have you had sex? I've already told you the story of this. Don't look at me and smile because it's not funny. Oh, okay, I got raped when I was 12 years old.
Right. And is that the only experience you've had?
I'll discard the fawn cardigan because that really wasn't fun. And nor was it fun when they forced a woman they'd flown all the way from California to beg on her knees for the right to see the aunt she'd never met.
I think...
Let me stay, please.
There's no need to get on your knees. Why is everyone blaming me as if this is my whole brainchild?
Let me stay, please.
Almost entirely thanks to those episodes, and especially the first, last week the Australian Communications and Media Authority announced that a
new commercial radio code protects participants.
And here it is.
Code of Practice 9, live hosted entertainment programs.
We reckon it ought to be called the Kyle and Jackie O Code. It says that
a licensee must not broadcast a program which A. treats participants in live hosted entertainment programs in a highly demeaning or highly exploitative manner. B. treats children participating in live hosted entertainment programs in a demeaning or exploitative manner.
You'll note that it's okay to treat adults in a demeaning and exploitative manner as long as it's not highly demeaning or highly exploitative. That Australian commercial radio needs to state a principle like that in a code of practice really makes you despair, doesn't it? And now we may need another Kyle and Jackie O code to deal with crass irresponsibility. In mid-August, Today FM came up with a new competition to excite their young breakfast audience. The prize was a brand new car and $10,000 in cash, and the game was a virtual car chase, played with the aid of a smartphone application.
Download the app, launch and sign in. Press Track Me to find where you are on the map, or you can press Track Cruise to see where it is now. Chase the cruise, and when you're within 100 metres, just press Take Cruise. Now you've got 1 minute to get away before someone can take the cruise from you.
Like a week-long game of musical chairs, the race to grab and keep the virtual car careered all over Sydney until Kyle and Jackie called halt. Whoever was left holding the virtual car on their smartphone got the real one. Now the point is that in the promo, a woman is shown running through the streets to escape other players. But in fact, most of the players, most of the time, were chasing the virtual car and each other in real cars.
Oh, there goes the siren.
Okay, that means we are stopping the game now.
Like the first lucky winner on August the 18th, who was driving when he captured the electronic prize and was still driving when the game stopped.
Hello, Joel?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi, Joel, Kyle and Jackie O. Guess what? We stopped the game and you've just won it. It's yours.
Won it, Joel.
Oh my God!
You've won it. Not only.
Wow.
On the online forum Whirlpool the previous day, one player described his experience of the game.
Wow, the people playing are psychos. One guy ran me off the road, and at one point, when it was at the end of the road I was on, doing close to 100 kilometres in like a 50-kilometre dirt road, speeding is bad, kids, and I had like 3 people behind me flashing their lights and beeping me to go faster.
There's no doubt the game was a success. Some 30,000 Sydney-siders downloaded the app. Remarkably, it wasn't until August the 22nd, a week after it started, that someone complained to the police about dangerous car chases. The police tell us that a senior officer warned Today FM about
the dangers the competition posed for road users. The station was asked to consider suspending or ending the competition.
but the station declined. It said it would increase its warnings to players to drive safely. Southern Cross Austereo have told Media Watch,
safety was always the utmost consideration in running the competition.
We understand the police were less than impressed. On August the 26th, while chasing another player on foot, a woman called Olivia Georgievsky found herself lost in the Ku-ring-gai Chase National Park. She told Media Watch,
it was getting dark really quickly, but I was so focused and determined to get that virtual car. But then a couple of times I fell down, and that's when I realised it was dangerous.
At 7 p.m, Olivia called the police for help. Superintendent Kenny of Hornsby Police told us that it took 3 policemen 2 hours to trek into the bush and find her, and another 2 hours to walk her out.
The police officers estimate they covered about 12 kilometres. The woman was fatigued but was not injured. She had spent about 6 hours in bushland.
We'll never know how many other narrow escapes occurred, before finally on August the 29th, Kyle and Jackie stopped the game for the second time.
Game is stopped, everyone. Stop, stop, stop.
Stop, stop, stop.
Very clear.
Did you have the car when we yelled out stop? That's the question.
The lucky winner was an ecstatic Rachel Milmore, who was on her way to work on a Sydney motorway.
The next thing you know, I'm driving on the M5 and it's come past me and I thought, you what? And then all of a sudden I've done a U-turn and I've just driven around the block and I've managed to steal it and then do a U-turn and do a U-turn and get away from it. And then almost run the red light at Henry Lawson Drive.
Not that you did, right?
No, almost, Jackie, almost. Quite safe, really. On its website, Southern Cross Austereo's sales director was quoted crowing,
this hugely successful Australian first saw the virtual world meet reality. Overall, it was a prime example of how radio can deliver to audiences and clients alike with outstanding results.
What we wonder is how the company would have spun the story if 2 cars chasing the virtual prize had collided, causing serious real-life injury or death. Would that have been an outstanding result? Presumably not, but it wouldn't have been in the least surprising. And the legal bills for Today FM might have been frightening. Now, while we're on the subject of road safety and responsible journalism, here's a question, and I warn you it's a tough one. Which of the following would you expect to produce more reliable results? 35 peer-reviewed trials and studies conducted by research centres around the world and evaluated in this paper, which concluded,
speed cameras are a worthwhile intervention for reducing the number of road traffic injuries and deaths.
Or a single uncontrolled experiment conducted by the 9 networks A Current Affair, which concluded,
based on those findings, the camera made no discernible difference to driver behaviour.
See, I told you it'd be a tough question. Here's Layla McKinnon.
Now to the ongoing debate over whether speed cameras actually save lives. While police say they help reduce the road toll, most of us think of them as government cash cows. Well, tonight we put them to the test.
Speed cameras do change behaviour.
Speed cameras are just cash cows. They do not improve safety at all.
We may never get the experts to agree, so we've decided to find out for ourselves. Do cameras really alter driver behaviour?
Before we get to Nick Etchell's silly little experiment, let's make one thing clear. The second of those experts, Michael Lane of the National Motorists Association, is a maverick on this topic. He sent us a long email explaining why his comment that speed cameras don't improve safety
is fair and reasonable, and that it is proper that these issues are placed in the public domain.
It's on our website. But the vast majority of qualified experts in road safety around the world disagree with him. In Australia, we called leading road safety research centres at Monash University, the Queensland University of Technology, the University of Adelaide, and the University of New South Wales. Check out their responses on our website. Some are extensive. But they're summed up by Dr. Stuart Newstead of Monash University Accident Research Centre.
There's no doubt that despite the fact that certain sections of the community don't like them, speed cameras do save lives.
As for speed cameras being cash cows, the Auditors General of Australia's 2 most populous states have just issued comprehensive reports which rubbish the idea. In July, the New South Wales Auditor General
found no evidence that revenue is a factor in determining where to locate cameras.
And just 3 weeks ago, this report from the Victorian Auditor General's office also found that generating revenue is
demonstrably not the primary purpose of the road safety camera program.
2 thorough recent reports that have examined all the evidence. Both conclude that speed cameras do reduce accidents. So, naturally, when a current affair tackles
the ongoing debate over whether speed cameras actually save lives,
it would tell us about those reports, wouldn't it? Are you kidding? Not a word, not a dicky bird. Instead, we have Nick Etchells playing at being a scientist with a Mickey Mouse trial that would make a Year 9 student blush.
51, 52, 56.
We tested 2 locations to see how fast drivers were travelling and how many were speeding. The first site has an obvious speed camera known to locals.
58.
The second site was on a long straight road where the speed camera operator hid, sort of, behind a tree. The result, announced Etchells triumphantly.
At the non-camera site, the 60 zone, the average speed was 53 kilometres an hour, and the number of speeders, 0.5%, exactly the same as at the camera location. Based on those findings, the camera made no discernible difference to driver behaviour.
Your sample size is way too small.
There are plenty of other reasons why ACA's trial was scientifically worthless. As a colleague of Professor Gibietta wrote in an email we've posted on our website,
no one with any capacity for logical and critical thought would give this demonstration credence as reliable evidence.
The question, of course, is whether a current affair is capable of logical and critical thought.
Well, I think we've answered that question, don't you?
But it's no laughing matter. As Victoria's Auditor General wrote in the comprehensive report that ACA ignored,
despite clear evidence to the contrary, there is ongoing public concern that the program is revenue-raising, inaccurate, or not soundly grounded in improving road safety outcomes. This has placed the program's ongoing legitimacy at risk.
By reinforcing those doubts with its absurd trial, a current affair is actively reducing public confidence in a program that saves lives. That's about as irresponsible as the media can get. A current affair didn't respond to our questions. Lots more material about speed cameras on our website, and be sure to tune in for another fun-crushing episode next week. Good night.